Hi, this is Mrs. Arriaga, and I'm going to introduce you to iBooks, which some of you may be familiar with. iBooks allows you to read and browse books in a dedicated program rather than using iTunes. Reading on the Mac might not be quite as compelling as on an iPad or Kindle, but the interface is good and easy on the eyes. There is a night mode. So to get to iBooks, you're going to click on the iBooks icon in your dock. And if you don't have that, you can always search for it up here in Spotlight. And you're going to click on iBooks. Now, iBooks is different than iBooks Author, which we'll be talking about next. So make sure you're clicking on iBooks, not iBooks Author. So click on iBooks. And once you've opened iBooks, you'll see all your books displayed. Across the top menu bar is a search box. You can just type in anything to search your books. And in addition, you have the 5 buttons across the tab, which allows you to view your books in different ways. So I could view them by collections. I could even add a category. I see that I have social studies. I could add a book into it by right-clicking on this book, and I could add it to the collection social studies. To add a collection, I could just simply click add, and it will create a new collection. And I could title this English, so I could create different categories for my classes. You can also sort your books in different ways. Right now, it's I'm able to view the cover. To open a book and start reading it, you simply click on the book you want to read. When I bring my cursor over it, I'm to the right or to the left, I'm able to move forward or backwards. At the top of every book, there's an icon to get back to your library. There's an icon to view the table of contents and move around within the book. And there's also a notes section, which we'll get to in a sec. I can highlight any section of a book, and when I highlight it, a box appears, and I can highlight it in any color. I can also add a note. And that will be saved. Then when I click on the right hand icon, which is show notes or study cards, I can see my notes. I had already created one, and I just created this one. If I want to use them as flashcards, I simply click study, and here's what I copied, and I can flip the card, and there's what I added as a note. Can move on to the next one, and I can flip card, and I can move on to the next note. So it allows me the ability to make flashcards from the highlights and notes that I've taken within the iBook. I'd like to remind you that you have the ability to download iBooks by going back to your library, and then from your library homepage, clicking on iBooks Store. Once you've signed in, you'll be presented with a familiar looking interface that takes many of its cues from iTunes. There's the usual array of options such as featured, top charts, New York Times. Further down, there's 2 lists side by side, one for top books that you have to pay to download, and another one that lists top books that are free to download. So we encourage you to check out the free books to see if there's any there that might be interesting. Also, check out the Choose a Category drop-down menu. There's the ability to look for iBooks by category. There's children and teens, where you'll probably find young adult fiction. There's nonfiction. There's even a textbook. You're now going to explore the iBooks available so that you might find something that's of interest to you, or perhaps something that is both of interest to you and helpful in your studies. This presentation was brought to you by the Library and Learning Commons team.